Someday, once I upgrade to the non-free software.
Yeah, it'll actually work for you.
All right, welcome, listeners. This is episode 5 of Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. This is Raph, streaming to you live high above the keep in the hot air balloon. Tonight, I have Neindorf and Walton with me. Neindorf, what's our question of the day?
All right, we'll jump right to it. Today, the question is it worth summoning right now? So I can give you my take on this if you'd like. I have done only a couple recently, and part of that has to do with the fact that I had a pretty good roll, so I thought I'd kind of revel in that victory for a little while. I managed to get a mythic character for the first time, and it was kind of interesting too. It was supposed to be, in theory, my ninja summoner combo, and I ended up with a warrior. So I about threw the keyboard, and then I clicked on it, and I saw purple, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Fantastic! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the feeling of euphoria once you see that purple border.
Oh,
I've
yes.
lucky enough to have it once, and hoping for it again. So yeah, I guess I can't blame you for wanting to keep the momentum going. How about you, Walton?
Yeah, I haven't had the experience yet. I've only gotten legendaries, and at this point, with the question of the day, I feel like if you're not trying for advanced or elite class, or even I don't even know what for elite or whatever, I think it's a little risky at this. Not trying to go for, and I think the prices right now for renting are at great prices, especially if you plan on playing the game for a while. To go towards, I think you could still make some money, I guess, if you could say. And if you get a good hero, I think why not hold on to it and kind of see where it goes down the road.
Yeah, for sure. I am not summoning too much right now. I'm kind of sitting on the jewel at the moment, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but have also been having some pretty major RPC issues, and getting some Steve the Pirates lost on their foraging quest. So, yeah, I have not been chancing it with the summons. Well, Neindorf, why don't you tell us a little bit about your current project? We had the alert system really start to go live the last time we spoke, and it's been blowing up our phones, as they say.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. So, sort of under the hood, the way it works is I basically just use the whole trick of you send an email to your phone number at your provider or whatever it is. And it turns out all the spamming of you guys that I had done actually got my email locked out for sending too much traffic. So I had to do some iterations on that, but I think I got that worked through. I'll probably just end up putting in like you get 10 a day. That way I can keep, the account's healthy, and then you're still getting some information that you need to come in and, maybe find a rock solid deal. And then on the other front, too, I'm working on getting this hosted. I just started to create a site, very, very basic. And I'll be working that, across the next couple weeks here. Hopefully we can get something, out there. We can share in our links, maybe in the next podcast. And if not, then, for sure after that.
Yeah, and I'd 10 a day. As you guys have probably seen yourself, if quests, it's kind of hard to keep up with it, and then you kind of lose interest of checking it out and everything, and it becomes a little too much at times. So
yes, for sure.
Definitely be a little bit more specific on what you're obviously when you set those, and try to limit how many you get. Otherwise, and especially when you wake up in the morning, that's probably the worst. Is when you're trying to through, okay, what did I miss?
And another thing I was thinking about too, and this is a feature that we can talk to and maybe get some feedback from our listener on, is if I think these alerts that you set up almost need to stale out, because if this is all time sensitive jewel pricing, right? And we'll get into some of this here, but the prices change rather quickly in this system, and is a 10 to 10 worth, X hundred anymore? Maybe not. So you just don't really want to let those run forever, I feel.
Let's go into the price conversation, guys. Walton, you're our resident price expert. Where are we at for the price of Jewel right now?
So Jewel right now is at $13.80. As you guys have seen since our last podcast, I think it was at $10.08. I mean, the price just keeps on going up, and as you guys, we probably keep on going that way, especially as DeFi Kingdoms keeps on expanding their reach.
Well, as Samuel L. Jackson says in our favorite movie of all time, hold on to your butts.
Yeah. Yes, there it is. Oh, that was perfect.
All right. Well, Walton, you've been doing a little bit of hero arbitrage on the market. Tell us a little bit about what you've seen and what you're looking for as you're buying and trading heroes, like we talked about with the alert system.
I've seen some, like I've kind of talked about in the previous podcast, and I don't want to keep on talking about it, but I've seen value in the fishermen. And I don't necessarily think that has to deal with people that are a thief or a ninja that they're looking for. I think if you guys look at it yourselves, if you're able to get into a fisherman profession, you can start leveling up your heroes a lot quicker than some of these other professions that have opened up. So even if you have a minor fisherman or what would I say, a gardener or whatever, you can start to level up your. But I have seen a lot of price increase with the fishermen. There are some good deals. It's kind of because one day you can get them really cheap and you have one sell that you weren't really expecting to sell, and then the next day you can't sell one of your best ones that you think you're offering a good deal for. And I think that brings of should you hold on to your heroes or should you sell them? And I mean, at this point, if I don't think it's worth getting into a price war with anybody. I think you start to devalue, and you can't get the price you're looking for. Just hold on to it and get it later on. And I think I kind of meant that a little too, but I think it's very important, especially as the price of Jewel goes up. I mean, the more and more the price of Jewel goes up, the more and more value your hero. But at the same time, you kind of got to pay you got and keep track of it, so you kind of have a good feeling of what you got and what to sell it for.
Yeah, Neindorf, you've been paying attention to specifically the Gen 1 hero market. Where's the floor on that right now?
Yeah, so it's not my turn with our pair of Gen Zeros yet, but that's coming up pretty quick. So it's something I kind of wanted to follow so I can strategize moving forward. It looked to me like recently it's holding pretty steady. A 10 to 10 Gen 1's holding about 110. So 110 Jewel. It's kind of low, if a person out there with just one Gen 0 has to rent, you're still going to end up spending, the 30 plus the 30 plus your rental. So, there's margins are kind of slim right now. But, the margin in Jewel is slim. The margin in dollars, I suppose you could say, is still relatively healthy. So I think that's kind of where, as a long-term player, I'm concerned more about the Jewel return. But if you're out there to sell a hero for profit, it's still a good value.
I mean, I think that we were talking about this earlier, guys, and there is as low as 15 Jewel just to rent, and that's pretty low. In order to, I understand you're going to be paying probably a 60 summon fee with 15 on top of that, but that's pretty low and a decent return, especially the price of Jewel that's going on right now. Sorry to cut you off.
One thing that I saw recently is that the hero on Medium, and for those of you who don't know, that's Mr. Zipper. He's a big data guy that you might have seen in the Discord and participated in constructing the hero bot inside the Discord as well. He wrote an article recently that talks about hero growth and hero growth per wallets. And some interesting statistics that stuck out to me is we're almost at 76,000 heroes, and we're recording right now on December 21st. And so that number continues to climb. Now, when you're looking at heroes per wallet, that number is growing from last week to this week, from 6.41 to 6.57. And so, I think it's a moderate growth or a slow growth. And so that bodes well for, the price of heroes stabilizing a little bit. But one mechanism that I wonder about that they might introduce in the future is, and they have alluded to this a little bit in the AMAs, is some kind of hero grinder where you send your old heroes out to pasture, and you can collect dust, experience, or some kind of amount of jewel that would allow you to recover some of that investment for a hero that you no longer feel is within really returning on investment for you. I think that's something that they might start to release as we get closer to the combat and the PvP quests. So that takes us to, on the price conversation, are we putting money in or taking money out? This is something that I've been thinking about, and actually with the price of jewel going up, one thing that I've been doing to kind of stabilize, diversify my portfolio is actually taking those extra jewel earnings from selling a few heroes, or from the earnings in the garden, and actually taking those jewels, transforming half of those jewels into USDC, a stable coin, and then posting that back into the jewel USDC garden, or transforming that jewel into another cryptocurrency that is also inside the DeFi Kingdoms arena. So what have you guys been doing with your current earnings of jewel?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. You kind of got to play your own hand, if you will. But I'm still holding on to a pretty sizable pile in the bank. I think some of these airdrops that are going to be coming pretty soon have me interested. And then plus also with, like I said, with my turns coming up with the Gen Zeros, I wanted to have a little bit more, liquid jewel at my disposal for renting or summoning. But yeah, I'm definitely considering having at least a little bit pulled out into stablecoin, just because of the fact that, it's crypto, right? Prices do fluctuate. There will be a pullback, especially coming off an all-time high here right now. So I think you got a good strategy. And like I said, everybody's got to kind of work it their own way.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in the same place. I have pulled back the USDC coin to take back when you feel like you can. I think we've all been kind of take back a little too soon. All there, especially when it first started to go up really high. It's just something I've done is I've tried to take back a little bit. When it starts to get up there a little bit higher. It's tough because you still want to invest in new heroes and stuff like that. So I've definitely have kept some in there too. You don't know where it's going to go, like Nine Door said. Got to keep it. I don't know. You got to keep some in there too. What it does. Crypto's a strange thing.
So we had an AMA recently this week, and I think actually all three of us missed a live stream, but a couple notes that stuck out to us that we want to go over. One of them was the $1 million grant that they discussed. Neindorf, what are your comments on that?
Yeah, I think that's a huge deal for the game and for the community. I believe I'd seen in the notes that they said that the largest grant Harmony had ever given out was in the tens of $1,000s range. So for them to crack $1 million, it's pretty clear to me that Harmony is understanding how important this game is actually now to the entire blockchain of Harmony. So, I think these sorts of news articles are huge, and they might be, one of the main driving factors on some of these price increases, honestly.
Yeah, that news couldn't have been more well-timed in that it helps balance out some of the RPC issues that we've been having. And they address this head-on in the AMA, knowing that right now they are taxing the Harmony blockchain more than any other system out there that utilizes it. And they also, I thought it was important to go out and say, if this was running on, there's no other blockchain out there that they imagine would be able to handle DeFi kingdoms as well as Harmony. And so it's something that the devs and the Harmony team are working together on to help mitigate, which is going to be nice because I have had a couple heroes lost out on their foraging quest for going on now 3 days. So it's been a little frustrating when the prices are this high and you want to summon or you want to sell those heroes. But it's something that, I've had to exercise a little bit of patience with. How are you guys holding up from a RPC issue standpoint?
Yeah, it's interesting. For me, there's only one of my guys that ever seems to get stuck or get lost. And it's the guy that, the garbage, archer that I have. And I've been wanting to sell him, but he just keeps getting stuck. All the rest of them keep coming back. It's just this guy, I don't know if he's lazy or what it is, but other than that, yeah, I've not had near the issues that you guys have had, I think.
Yeah, I've kind of had some issues, especially kind of tough with, you're trying to level up your heroes. I think everyone at this point knows the value of leveling up your heroes. And when you try to go level up your heroes, and then you got like 5 stuck right there. And then, you're kind of busy, so you can't access it again right away. It's kind of frustrating, but at the same time, I'm investing in, and if you don't, obviously don't go that route, but it's like they've kind of said themselves, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that there's this much activity and that there's, this many players out there and they're doing all this stuff within the game. I think it's actually a good thing for the game.
Well, that's a very elegant segue to our next topic.
So at this point, I think I got 3 of my guys up to level 3 and probably 2 or 3 more that are, within 400 XP. I'm running short of runes though. So now it's going to be down to that point of starting to make those hard decisions we talked about in previous podcasts.
Sure thing. Yeah, I have one guy that hit level 3 today and a few more that are close behind him, but certainly feeling like I need to play a little bit of catch up. I think, as we discussed in a couple episodes ago, I think it's going to be really important to stay on making sure you're leveling your heroes. Those stats are undoubtedly going to play a large role in your ability to go out and quest and probably be able to achieve that land, which I think is going to be even more valuable than the Gen Zeros. There's less land, and it sounds like there's going to be more mechanics based around the land and the quests and the equipment or buildings that could exist on top of that land. So getting that, I can't stress enough how important that's going to be. One profession that I think is going to help increase in value actually will probably be fishing. There's talk about there being stamina potions from the alchemists. I think those are going to start becoming really powerful and really expensive as you're trying to play catch up. You can send out your guy that has that quest or that profession that matches that quest. You can utilize all of your stamina, go out 5 times, use a stamina potion, go out another 5 times. And so you can start to play catch up in a hurry if you have a few of those.
Yeah, and I think something that you kind of, talking about stamina, that's something that I was hung up on here for a moment. The first time I leveled my first guy up to level 3, it's like, whoa, I missed I didn't get an extra stamina boost. Did a little digging, and that's intentional. Turns out so that our listener doesn't also get hung up, that only occurs on even levels. It's kind of like opposite of the rune. The rune costs go up, and then the stamina goes up on opposite level ups. And then also, be mindful too, if when you do level up, you do get to top off your stamina. So, there's some strategy there too on maximizing what your outputs are from your heroes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I took advantage of that one when I leveled up my guy this morning. Sent him out on a full load of quests and then sent him out right again. So,
right.
Yeah, keep him going. Well, let's talk about the Gen Zero summoning. Walton, you had your first turn, at summoning Gen Zero since we spoke last. How'd you fare?
Yeah, so I was planning on just summoning together that we have. Like I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier in this podcast, I feel like it's the value is just it's too good right now to not rent. I mean, with you being able to rent for only 20 jewel, I think is the max I spent. I think I spent 19 on one and 20 on the other. Granted, I did get a 10 common.
All right. Well, that sounds pretty exciting. Neindorf, we have Gardens opening up tomorrow. Why don't you close us out with what you're looking forward to there?
Yeah, so I think this is going to be really exciting because it's honestly it's really central to this game. There's this rewards pool that's building up. There's these heroes. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I have a couple of my better heroes I've been sitting on our gardeners, and it feels like you're throwing away that stamina a little bit on fishing or whatnot. So I think this is going to be that opportunity where you can really start to see how the mechanics that they've built on this game are going to work long term. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's supposed to be tomorrow, assuming there's no other issues. And that's another great point I'd like to make real quick too, is I think we got to give the devs some leeway here because they're trying to do something that hasn't really been done before. And, I think it was Frisky Fox or whoever was in the AMA they wanted to stress that, we want to get this right because it's your guys' money. It's the financial gain or loss of all of us playing this game. So I'm more than fine with them taking this extra week to test the daylights out of this thing and make sure that it's a solid set of smart contracts.
Sure thing. And yeah, I would say knowing that the Gardens are coming up is absolutely playing into my calculus of taking the extra dual earnings that I have now and starting to put them into the LPs. Well, thank you, listeners. This is Raph from the Hot Air Balloon, streaming with you with Walton and Neindorf here. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.